I've been playing Warriors Orochi 3 Ultimate lately. I've previously beaten this game about a year and a half ago, but the best part about Warriors Orochi 3 Ultimate is that it has so much content. There is so much to do in this game. You could spend hundreds and hundreds of hours going through it. You have to play every stage 4 times to clear all 4 difficulties. And I only cleared the first difficulty the first time around, so now I'm coming in again, playing it on the next level of difficulty. And then I may play it on the 3rd level of difficulty. You have over 100 characters, I think over 140 characters to level up and get to maximum level. If you wanted to do that, I'm probably not going to do that. I only ever did that for 5 characters the last time I played, and well, I've been going through this, and then I've decided to go down a little bit of a rabbit hole into the Muso series, and comparing Warriors Orochi 3 Ultimate to the next title in the franchise. The Orochi series is Warriors Orochi 4, and the supreme best version of that is, of course, Warriors Orochi 4 Ultimate. The Warriors Orochi 4 Ultimate won a Guinness World Record for the biggest roster. And it could have had even more characters, because Warriors Orochi 3 Ultimate still has characters that Orochi 4 Ultimate does not. The 3 crossover characters that return in Warriors Orochi 4 Ultimate are Ryu Hayabusa from the Ninja Gaiden series, who is also in the Dead or Alive series, since both products are owned by the same parent company, and Joan of Arc, who I forget what she's from originally, but she was in this game, and now she's in the next one. And then Achilles, who was from the Legends of Troy game, another game by the same parent company. The same parent company owns all 3 IPs that these 3 characters come from, so of course they have the rights to be able to bring them in to Warriors Orochi 4 Ultimate. However, they also own the rights to a bunch of other characters that they decided not to bring over into Orochi 4 Ultimate from Orochi 3 Ultimate. Those characters were Sterkenberg Kranash, who was from the Atelier Ireland series, same parent company that owns the IP. He's not in Orochi 4 Ultimate. He's one of my favorite characters to use in this game. He is really good. The rest of the Ninja Gaiden characters, which is Ayane, Momiji, Rachel, and Kasumi. Kasumi is also in the Dead or Alive series. All 4 of these guys are not in Orochi 4 Ultimate. Nemia, not in Orochi 4 Ultimate. There's somebody else that I'm thinking of that did not make it. I can't remember their name right now. Sophicia, that's it. Sophicia from the Soul Calibur series. I don't think Koei owns that title. However, I don't think it would have been too difficult to get her as a DLC character licensed over for Orochi 4 Ultimate. I don't think it would have been that difficult at all to do. Just bring in the exact same character from the exact same moveset, because, you know, that's how they do these things. That's why they are able to make a lot of these games so quickly, is because they copy and paste previous movesets, previous things, the exact same thing, into the next title. They just make it a little bit prettier. They might give you a new weapon, etc. That's kind of what it was in the Dynasty Warriors franchise. This is their original franchise that they started, and then they got Samurai Warriors in as well, and so on and so on. And the movesets for the characters are not tied to the characters, but they are rather tied to their weapons. And Orochi 3 Ultimate, I would say, in terms of movesets for the Dynasty Warriors half of the cast, is inferior to Orochi 4 Ultimate. Even though a lot of people say Orochi 3 Ultimate is the best one of the 4 Orochi series games, I would say that is true in terms of content and story. Both of these are way superior in 3 than they are in 4. I would agree wholeheartedly. But in terms of roster and movesets, I would say that 4 Ultimate is way superior. Now, we are not going to count the new characters that show up in Dynasty Warriors 8, because there are a bunch of new characters that show up. I think there's about 11 new characters in as of 8 Extreme Legends, and 8 Empires gets 1 more, so that's 12 new Dynasty Warriors characters that get added into 4 Ultimate. We're not going to count those. We're just going to count the ones that were in Dynasty Warriors 7's roster that show up in 3 Ultimate. If you've played Dynasty Warriors 7 and you also went and played Dynasty Warriors 8, you would realize that in 7 there are a lot of characters that use the exact same weapon. The movesets for these characters are tied to the weapon, not to the character. The character has a Muso and an EX attack that are unique to that character. Outside of that, when they attack with a weapon, their moveset is tied to that weapon. So, for example, if Ma Chao uses a spear and he attacks with the spear, his moveset is going to look like that. If you equip Xiaoduin with a spear, his moveset is going to look exactly like Ma Chao's moveset with the spear. It's going to have the exact same animations. In Warriors Orochi 3 Ultimate, there are a bunch of characters that use the exact same weapon. For example, the basic sword, which comes in one of the first 3 characters that you use in the very first stage, Sima Zhao. With Sima Zhao, he uses the basic sword. That animation, those combos, it's a pretty good weapon, I will admit. 4 characters use this weapon and use this exact same moveset. Sima Zhao, Sun Jian, Sun Xuan, and Cao Cao. All 4 of these characters use this. Now, a 5th character in the base Dynasty Warriors 7 cast also used this weapon, and that was Xiaoduin. Thankfully, by Dynasty Warriors 7 Extreme Legends, which is the version of Dynasty Warriors 7 that Orochi 3 Ultimate uses, Xiaoduin upgrades to the Podao. The Podao was a DLC weapon, and this is usually how they started doing this ever since 7 and into 8 and into 8 Empires and all this stuff. They would upgrade a character's weapon with a DLC weapon. So, there are a couple DLC weapons that released for the base Dynasty Warriors 7 game, and I want to look through a couple of these right now and tell which ones were given to characters in 7 Extreme Legends. One of the DLC weapons is the Dagger Axe. The Dagger Axe was given to Yu Ying in 7 Extreme Legends, and thankfully Yu Ying uses the Dagger Axe in Orochi 3 Ultimate. That's a good thing. Good. The bombs. These were given to Dong Zhuo in 7 Extreme Legends. He has them in this. That's good. The short pike was a DLC weapon. This was not given to anybody in any spin-off of Dynasty Warriors 7. However, this weapon was given to a character that releases in Dynasty Warriors 8, which is Han Dong. We're not going to be talking about that one. Then we have the Great Axe, which is given to Xu Huang, and he was in this one, and he keeps that weapon, so that's good. The Mace was given to a new character that shows up in Dynasty Warriors 7 Extreme Legends, Pang De, and that's a very good weapon. However, there are about 6 DLC weapons that released during the Dynasty Warriors 7 Extreme Legends era that were not given to anybody, despite being given to people in 7 Empires. Now, here's the reason why this is important and why I did this rabbit hole deep dive. Orochi 3 Ultimate debuts a character that is on the cover of 7 Empires. 7 Empires releases roughly about a year to a half of a year after Orochi 3 Ultimate, which means that the latest version of Dynasty Warriors 7 that Orochi 3 Ultimate could use is Extreme Legends. Zhu Shu, that is with an SHU, not a ZHU. Zhu Shu with a ZHU is from the faction of Wei, and he was already in Dynasty Warriors 7. Zhu Shu is in Dynasty Warriors 7 Empire, so if we do not count the Orochi series, Zhu Shu debuts in Empires of Dynasty Warriors 7. He's the new character there. He's also on the cover of that game. But he's playable. Zhu Shu is playable in Orochi 3 Ultimate, despite Orochi 3 Ultimate coming out a year before Dynasty Warriors 7 Empires. That's interesting and fascinating to me, because in 7 Empires, the 6 DLC weapons that released for Dynasty Warriors 7 Extreme Legends, which is the Pugil Stick, the Spiked Shield, the lightning sword, the arm blade, the boomerang, and the circle blade were all given to characters in Empires, but were not given to anybody in Orochi 3 Ultimate. So, for example, the Pugo Stick, which was given to Dachiao in 7 Empires, she does not have access to that weapon in 3 Ultimate, despite that weapon already existing as of the time of this game's release. They decided not to give out these 6 weapons to 6 characters in 7 Empires. And technically it would be 7 characters that would get new weapons, because there's the Spiked Shield. That was one of the DLC weapons for 7 Empires, which was given to Sao Ren. Now, Sao Ren in 7 Extreme Legends is using the Flail. Ga Ning is given the Flail in 7 Empires. In 7 Extreme Legends, Ga Ning was using the Chain and Sickle, which is the exact same weapon that Xia Zhu uses. Well, that means that 7 characters get to have new weapons, which means unique weapons. Unique weapons are good because that means nobody else is using that weapon, which means that moveset is tied to that character and is unique to that character. Unfortunately, 7 characters have to use copy-paste weapons from other characters. Dachiao uses the Iron Fan, which Xiao Xiao uses. Sao Ren uses the Flail. Admittedly, the Flail is a unique weapon just to Sao Ren, but Ga Ning uses the Chain and Sickle, which Xia Zhu uses, so 2 people use the same weapon there. Sima Shi uses the Rapier, even though he's given the Lightning Sword in 7 Empires. The Rapier is also shared between Yuan Shao and Liu Shan, so that's 3 people using the same weapon. The Arm Blade was given to Huang Gai in 7 Empires. Huang Gai uses the club in 7 Extreme Legends, which is also used by Zhu Shu, that's the Wei character. The Boomerang is an interesting weapon because it was given to Zhu Rong in previous versions of Dynasty Warriors, like Dynasty Warriors 4 or 5. Zhu Rong was using the Boomerang. In Dynasty Warriors 7, she was not given the Boomerang, she was given the Throwing Knives. The Throwing Knives was used by Wang Yuanji, a new character which was introduced in 7. So the Throwing Knives were shared by 2 characters, despite the Boomerang having existed in previous games, so they just didn't bring it in. So by 7 Empires, they finally brought that weapon back and gave it to Zhu Rong like she should have had the entire time. And then there was the final weapon, the Circle Blade, which was given to Ding Feng in 7 Empires, but he was using the Gauntlets in 7 Extreme Legends. The Gauntlets are also shared by Meng Huo. So we have a bunch of characters using the same weapons, unfortunately. Now, even after these 7 unique weapons are given to these 7 characters, we still had a bunch of characters using the same weapons, such as Guan Ping and Xiahou Ba, both using the Great Sword. Liu Bei, Cao Pi, and Lu Xun were all using the Twin Swords. And of course we have Sima Shao, Sun Jian, Sun Xuan, and Cao Cao all using the basic sword. Dynasty Warriors 8 is the superior version of the 2. Between 7 and 8, 8 is the best version, of course, because it does away with that. Nobody is using the same weapon. Every single character is using a unique, different weapon, which I think should have been the case for 7 from the start, is that every character should have had a unique weapon. Now, of course, in this franchise, you can equip any weapon you want, which is why they have DLC weapons to begin with. These DLC weapons can be given out to any character to equip at any time. Even Dynasty Warriors 8 and 8 Extreme Legends, you can use the DLC for both of these games on a single title. Even the DLC from here, the DLC weapons, were dished out in 8 Empires. The new DLC weapons from 8 Empires, from 8 Extreme Legends, were given to some characters in 8 Empires. And those weapons from 8 Empires were then used in 4 Ultimate. The difference here that I want to point out is that Orochi 3 Ultimate uses 7 Extreme Legends, whereas Orochi 4 Ultimate uses 8 Empires. Empires is usually the final title in a Dynasty Warriors installment. It is the title that comes out after Extreme Legends. It's usually the one that has the most updated weapons roster and the final roster, the final maximum amount of characters that installment has. So that's strange to me, is that 3 Ultimate has the roster of 7 Empires. Shushu was in 7 Empires and not in any previous version of Dynasty Warriors 7, and he's in the latest version of 3 Ultimate, yet the weapons loadout from 7 Empires was not used, because 7 Empires came out within a year after 3 Ultimate's release. I think, if you ask me personally, I think 7 Empires and Orochi 3 Ultimate should have swapped release spots. I think 7 Empires should have released when 3 Ultimate did, and I think 3 Ultimate should have released about a year later after that. That way, 3 Ultimate could have used 7 Empires' roster, 7 Empires' weapons loadout, 7 Empires' updated whatever. That would have been the best way to do this, because as it is right now, this just looks lazy. And that's why I think 4 Ultimate is superior to 3 Ultimate in terms of the Dynasty Warriors roster and their weapons and their movesets and their loadouts, because they're using the 8 Empires engine. And the Dynasty Warriors characters in 8 are amazing. They not only have the basic on-ground Muso, they have an air Muso, and then they have a third one as well. There's 3 Musos for each character. A Muso is like an ultimate attack, a special attack. There's 3 of them for each Dynasty Warriors character. And there's a unique weapon for every single character. So no character's moveset will be animated the same way. Cao Cao, Sun Jian, Sun Quan, and Sima Zhao will not have the same basic attack animation movesets like they do in 3 Ultimate. They will have unique ones. They will attack differently from one another in 4 Ultimate, which is what I prefer. I like that characters will have different movesets from one another. I like that, because that means they're not just reskins. They're different, if that makes sense. And that's what I just wanted to bring up about that, the comparison between Orochi 3 Ultimate and Orochi 4 Ultimate, is that both games are viable, both games are important, and you should play both games. Mainly because not only does 3 have the Ultimate crossover roster, but 4 has the best Dynasty Warriors cast.